Hi, I'm Mike Lemieux. Some of you know me as Mikey or Giddy Up Mikey, and I'm the author of this book here called Dude, Where's My Jesus Fish? And I'm here today to do part 4 of my Course in Miracles series called The Course in Miracles 100. And the number 4 kind of reminds me of a Seinfeld episode from when Elaine, George, and Jerry, they're all at a Chinese restaurant and they're waiting around for a table and they keep asking the man, how much longer is it going to be? Oh, it'll be 5-10 minutes. And, and he keeps telling them the same thing, that it'll be 5 or 10 minutes every time they ask. So they finally decide they're going to go somewhere else to eat. And then as they're just walking out the door, the man says, Seinfeld, fall! There's also another funny line from that same episode. Cartwright! Cartwright! If you don't watch Seinfeld, you have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. But if you do, hopefully you found that rather amusing. But either way, at least I didn't sing this time, right? All right, so we're going to pick up where we left off from last time. Part 3 ended with number 55, so today we'll start off with number 56 until we get to number 70. So 56, the practical application of the Holy Spirit's purpose is extremely simple, but it is unequivocal. In fact, in order to be simple, it must be unequivocal. The truth is simple because there's no wiggle room for it. You can't manipulate it to suit your needs, because when you do that, it's no longer the truth. So it is simple. The truth is always simple. The ego is very complex and highly individualized, as Art and Persa say. Number 57. Heaven is not a place nor a condition. It is merely an awareness of perfect oneness and the knowledge that there is nothing else, nothing outside this oneness, and nothing else within. And you can't say that about the universe of time and space. It's full of separation and division and non-unity and non-perfection. There is no oneness here, although Art and Persa referred to it as a pseudo-oneness, but it's not a real oneness because it's no good. It's not of God. And only God is outside the pseudo-oneness, because God has nothing to do with the pseudo-oneness. Okay. Number 58, I need do nothing. To do anything involves the body. And if you recognize you need do nothing, you have withdrawn the body's values from your mind. Of course, we all still need to forgive, so you're still doing something, but it's talking about not doing things on the level physical. Of course, we're all going to appear to be doing things on the level of the physical. I mean, no one's going to be staring at a wall until they attain their enlightenment, although that would be theoretically possible. But even staring at a wall is still doing something. The point is that salvation is of the mind. It doesn't matter what you do out in the world. That's why the Course says, you must change your mind and not your behavior. Nobody's getting to heaven on good behavior alone. It's all about how we look at the world and how we look at the people in the world. That's what will get us to heaven or keep us in hell and a prisoner of this world. Okay, number 59. Nothing can hurt you unless you give it the power to do so. It reminds me of a piece in The Disappearance of the Universe where Art and Persa are talking with Gary, and Gary's like, it's not so much when I judge others that bothers me, it's when they judge me. And Art and Persa are like, hey, that's your own judgment is being seen outside yourself. They're not even there. So if you think they're there, you're making other people's judgments of you real to you. The point is they're not real. So if you can kind of reverse that thinking, then you'll be free. Okay. Which is the whole objective of the Course, to reverse the ego's thinking. Instead of making things real, we want to make them unreal. Okay. Number 60. Seek not to change the world, but choose to change your mind about the world. There is no point in trying to change the world. It is incapable of change because it is merely an effect. But there is indeed a point in changing your thoughts about the world. Here you are changing the cause. The effect will change automatically. Again, it's not that we won't be doing things in the world. You can try to make it a better place, but you can't have any psychological attachment to that, because even if something does change for the better, like was it Gary or Art and Persa? It might have been a Gary quote directly from Gary. When you fix one thing in the world, what you get is another problem. When you solve one problem in the universe of time and space, what you get is another problem. I believe that's the exact quote. And I believe that came straight from Gary. So, yeah, that's the way it's set up. It's set up to keep us looking out there to solve problems, when the real answer to the problem is right here in the mind, where the Holy Spirit dwells. Okay. Number 61. For time you made and time you can command. You are no more a slave to time than to the world you made. And the time and the world and the universe of time and space go hand in hand in hand. Without guilt in the mind, there would be no world. Without guilt in the mind, there would be no time and space. And if we undo the guilt in the world, undo the guilt in the mind, there will be no world, and we'll be perfectly happy in heaven, where there's no need for time or guilt or the world, and it's just a cosmic orgasm, as Gary calls it. And who doesn't want to sign up for that? I mean, what the hell? All right, 62. The first chaotic law is that the truth is different for everyone. The principle evolves from the belief there is a hierarchy of illusions. Some are more valuable and therefore true. Yeah, Arnold Persa is saying in The Disappearance of the Universe, everybody's trying to find and express their truth. Well, what they'll do is, what their truth will do is just keep them stuck here, because the truth is not subject to your interpretation. There's only one truth, and there is no his truth or your truth or my truth or her truth or whatever. There's just the truth that God is and nothing else is. And the Course in Miracles is training us to think in a way that will get us to the experience that indeed God is and nothing else is. But it's a process, so it'll take some time to get there. Number 63. There is no life outside of heaven. Where God created life, there life must be. In any state apart from life, hang on a sec, I screwed that up. In any state apart from heaven, life is illusion. Okay. At best, it seems like life, at worst, like death. Yet both are judgments on what is not life, equal in their inaccuracy and lack of meaning. Life not in heaven is impossible, and what is not in heaven is not anywhere. So our experience here is not anywhere, because we're not here, and there is no here, because the world doesn't exist. The universe of time and space doesn't exist. So we're just dreaming that there is a universe of time and space. We're just dreaming that we're individual souls and having these experiences of being in a body. But it's not true. And it's just an hallucination, as the Course calls it. What if you recognize the world is just an hallucination? What if you understood that you made it up? So once we understand that and we do the work necessary to get us out of the hallucination, then we'll wake up and be where there's not anywhere. Not anywhere. Did I say that right? I might have totally botched that. Well, or we'll wake up to reality, the real reality. Instead of what passes for reality in this world. Oh, excuse me, I need a little water here. Got something caught in my throat or something. Cheers. All right, where was I? 64. To learn this course requires willingness to question every value that you hold. I remember when I was a kid, I was a huge New York Giants fan. And I'd be like, if they lost on Sunday, I'd be like depressed for the whole week. I mean, how pathetic is that? I mean, it's stupid. But as a kid, that was like real and the most important thing to me, I'd rather see people die than my team lose. I mean, I was a sick little boy, I twisted and stuff. Even sometimes if they lost to even if they beat a team that I felt they should have beat by more points, I was still disappointed. So so that was like a value I eventually gave up without even doing the course. I just kind of like grew up, but anyway, it can be applied to anything. It can be Gary uses the example of a healthy body or a sick body. Well, there's nothing wrong with having a healthy body, but being a body in of itself is a sickness. So there's really no difference between a healthy body or a sick body, because neither one is true. Okay, so it's all about giving up our values. We don't have to give up things physically, but we do have to change the way we look at them. Okay. 65. Anything in this world that you believe is good and valuable and worth striving for can hurt you, and will do so. Not because it has the power to hurt, but just because you have denied it's but an illusion and made it real. And we live in a world of false idols. People want to look to something to give them comfort and make them feel good. But really, it's only the Holy Spirit's answer is the only thing that's going to make us feel good in a permanent way, because it's going to free us of all the guilt in the mind. And without guilt in the mind, you can't suffer. The guiltless mind cannot suffer, as the Course says. And if we can't suffer, then it doesn't matter what we have. It doesn't matter what possessions we have or what special love we have, because We'll be totally at peace, regardless of what's going on in the world. Okay. 66. When you forgive the world your guilt, you will be free of it. I remember this quote was used in Gary's second book, Your Immortal Reality. And Gary was like, free of the world or free of my guilt? And Arn's like, well, without one, you have no need for the other. So when you forgive the world your guilt, you will be free of the world because there will be no need for the world. The guilt is just a hiding space from God. Or the world is just a hiding space from God because of the guilt. But we get rid of the guilt, we don't need to hide from God anymore. Okay. Where are we? Number 67. The real world is the state of mind in which the only purpose of this world is seen to be forgiveness. Fear is not its goal, for the escape from guilt becomes its aim. And yeah, we need the real world. I mentioned this in the previous episode that we need the real world as a prerequisite to heaven. But even the quote-unquote real world isn't really real because it's just a stepping stone to heaven, which is real. But again, we need the real world, which means we look at the world without projections of unconscious guilt. We use our tool of true forgiveness to free us of the unconscious guilt. And then we'll see the world as it really is, as nothing. It's nothing to be feared. And then we can go home. Yeehaw. All right. Number 68. Anger is never justified. You are never upset for the reason you think. Yeah. Stuff will happen in your life. Maybe you get fired from your job, or maybe some schmuck cuts you off in traffic, or someone steals your money or something, and you get upset, or you get angry, or you get depressed, or whatever. But those aren't the real reasons why you get upset or angry or depressed. It's because we're longing for home. That was a Foreigner song, I think, Long, Long Way from Home. And I think there was his lyrics about longing for home in there. But anyway, where was I going? I totally lost my train of thought here. Yeah, so anything that upsets us or gets us angry or annoyed or whatever, it's just symbolic of the original idea of separating from God. So we're kind of like really pissed off at ourselves, but we're kind of projecting it onto other people and blaming them for the reasons why we're not at peace. So that's why it's never justified, because we made the whole thing up. That's why the Course also says, secret of salvation is but this: you are doing this unto yourself. Of course, you don't realize this consciously. It's all on the unconscious level, but we are doing this to ourselves. It's already been done. We're just playing out a record, a tape, or movie, whatever you want to call it. But we can end the record or the tape or the DVD, the movie, through true forgiveness. In fact, there's a part in the Course where you can collapse time, so we can actually remove parts from the DVD or the recording, whatever you want to call it, so that we don't have to go through the entire thing. We can eliminate parts and get home even faster. So, yeehaw. Okay. Number 69. The world was made as an attack on God. It symbolizes fear. Some people maybe want to beautify the world, and sure, there's some cool parts to the world that I like, the oceans and the waterfalls and the sunsets and the rainbows and all that stuff. That's pretty cool stuff, but even the beauty in this world is only beautiful compared to the not so beauty. Neither one is true, because neither is created by God and neither one's heaven. And guess what? In the ocean, there's like fish eating other fish and stuff. It's a violent place. And the rainbows are, they're going to disappear, and then it's going to be nighttime. And this isn't the happy world. This isn't God's world. It's not. It's the dream of imperfection. So number 70, last one. Learn this and learn it well, for it is here delay of happiness is shortened by a span of time you cannot realize. You never hate your brother for his sins, but only for your own. Whatever form his sins appear to take, it but obscures the fact that you believe them to be yours, and therefore meriting a just attack. Yeah, so when we project onto others, we're really kind of like just pissed off at ourselves, but we decided to be in denial of it instead, and we're blaming, whatever or whoever for your problems. And that's not going to get you home, and that'll never satisfy you. It might make you feel temporarily better, but that's really not a long-term answer. It's just going to keep you in misery. So anyway, I think that's about it for today. Hopefully these are helpful to somebody out there, and if not, then well, it's been reinforced for myself at least anyway, because I'm not a master at forgiveness. I still have my work to do. To despite all the times I've read Gary's books over and over and over again, I'm still not perfect at practicing forgiveness. So, but on a personal say, forgiveness, repetition is not only perfectly all right, it's mandatory. So you can't hear this stuff enough times. So anyway, that's it for today. Have a good one. Next time I'm on for a video will be in 2017. So 2016 is just about done, and that's good because it's been a very, very, very weird year. Not saying it was bad, not saying it was good, but it was just very weird. So I'll be glad 2016 is done when it's done. Okay, bye-bye.